Hello, my name is Max Aguilar, and for this video, for this occasion, I'm going to talk you about Warhammer 40k or Warhammer 40,000. Warhammer 40,000 is a tabletop game franchise, but it is not just a tabletop game franchise. It also have a lot of video games and a lot of books. Until I know, they are like more than 200 books, so it is a lot if you ask me. And here I'm going to talk you about the lore from the books, because I do know nothing about the tabletop game. I just know that it is about miniatures and it is like a little bit cool, the miniatures, but I do know nothing. So I'm going to talk you about the lore. And first, I needed to give you a little bit of context. For this context, first of all, we needed to talk about the Emperor of Mankind. The Emperor is a perpetual, literally an immortal man, which have lived since 8,000 years before Jesus Christ. It is a lot of time, and this history happens in the 31st millennia. So literally, he have lived for 39 millennia. It is a lot of time. The Emperor of Mankind was literally a psyker, a magician. The psykers are people who have a mutation which makes them able to use the warp powers. The warp is another dimension with a lot of demons and creatures for itself, which is so weird. Literally, it is nothing. It doesn't have any sense because it is how it works. It is the warp. It doesn't have any sense, and literally, it is the logic of the warp. Nothing have any sense. Alright, but the psychers are literally people like magicians. They can cause a fireball for kill people or do a lot of things. And the Emperor was the most powerful psyker in all the mankind history. The Emperor of Mankind in the third millennia tried to make a great crusade, a crusade to reunify all the mankind and erase all the xenos races. What is a xeno race? An alien. It is just a weird way to call the aliens xeno. I don't know why it happens, but it is lore. I don't know. Maybe a bit say it or a codex, but it is not my problem. I'm just saying it that the xeno races are just aliens, and these are literally talking races for these aliens. They are elves and orcs, and also have space dwarves, but the space dwarves are abhumans. What is a abhuman? A posthuman species. What is a posthuman species? A species with evolved from the human, from the Homo sapiens or Homo sapiens sapiens, and it can be called in the 41st millennia or in the 31st millennia, because in a lot of times, since the humanity lost his home world, the Earth, or how it is called in that lore, in that franchise, the Holy Terra, because it literally is the cradle of mankind, but the Earth, Terra, is nothing like how it is right now. It is literally a dead world with a hive city. What is a hive city? A hive city is literally a city which is so compacted and so bad, literally hive city. When more lower are you, more poor are you. Literally, it is how it works. The people which is in the most high part are the royalty. They are rich. They have a lot of power in those hype cities because they are rich. And alright, so Terra was literally a garbage, was nothing, was a trash world. And I needed to tell you about how the Emperor reunified Terra. It take him like 3,000 years, literally 3 millennia, to take just one planet, Terra, because it was literally a bad planet with a lot of techno barbaries. I don't know how it happened, but it is so weird. So, going to tell you about the Emperor had that dream to reunify mankind after that dark age. Literally, it have a period of time which is called the Dark Age of Technology, where the AIs rebelled against the mankind and tried to destroy and erase the mankind. It is the reason why in Warhammer 40k the AIs are banned from all the Imperium's technology, because they have a little bit of a trauma with it. I agree with it because literally the AIs tried to kill the mankind, tried to erase it. But I can disagree with it because at the end of the day, in the Imperium of Man, the people are still using the AIs because they are usable. The PCAs are literally tools of extremely automation, which can modify the atoms, the undivided structure of the world. Literally, it is so powerful, and with those PCA, the people can make a lot of arms, a lot of things like powerful weapons and other things like machines, war machines. Yeah, literally, this franchise is called Warhammer. It is obvious that it have a lot of war. When we are talking about Warhammer, there is a phrase that represents what is happening in the 42nd millennia. In the far grim future, there is only war, because literally there is only war, but not literally because the Imperium have more than 1,000,000 worlds in all the galaxy. The Milky Way is dominated by the Imperium because they have a lot of wars. They have the most dominating faction because they have more than 1,000,000 worlds. It is a lot, and the other faction like the Tau have a lot of less planets, so they can do a lot of things. The Tau are so intelligent and weird, but they are not the strongest at this point, but they are like the humanity during the Great Crusade. Literally, it is something that I don't remember in a book. It happened that the people compared the Tau Empire and the Great Crusade of the Emperor, because the people doesn't know about it, because there is a lot of things which happen in Warhammer 40,000. One of these things was the Horus Heresy. What is the Horus Heresy? The Horus Heresy, because Horus was an heretic. He was an heretic, and he committed a lot of heresy. He was literally a tool of the chaos gods. They are not good gods because they are not gods. They needed the mortal people to survive and subsist. So they are not truly gods. They are fake gods. They also are called like the ruinous powers, and I understand that point that they have the primordial truth. They are more natural because the chaos is the nature of the mankind of every species. Blah, blah, blah. It is a lie. I understand it because they are old and literally they have a lot of power, and obviously everyone can fail against the chaos. The chaos is so strong, so you can watch to a Lovecraft god without getting mad. So it happens with those chaos gods that I prefer to call them the ruinous powers because they are not gods. Alright, but literally I disagree with them in everything because first of all there is corn, not corn like the maize, how we call it in Venezuela, the Castilian language. Corn is a weird kind of god of the war, of the warriors, of the masculinity also. So he's an alpha male, but he loves to take the skulls of his enemies and use them like a throne because he literally have skull thrones. His name is blood for the blood god and skulls for the skull thrones. So I don't like that weird kind of things like a skull thrones. It is cool, but bro, literally you are fed up with war and blood and butcher and everything which have a lot of things with murder. I don't like it. Another god is Singe, the Lord of Change. He's so weird because he doesn't have a true form because the Chaos God doesn't have a true form, but Singe is most weird than the other Chaos gods because he literally is the Lord of Change. He represents the change. Literally, it is his concept. He can be stained with just a concept. Concept. He is just a concept, two concepts, but he can change it literally. The other one is Nurgle, the Grandfather's Nurgle, my favorite one because he is like a grandfather, but he's the plague lord. He's the dark father. He's the first plague beater because literally he's the father of the plague. His gift, his blessings are sickness, are illness. If you're sick, you're happy for him because literally he gives you special ADs. He gives you the worst illness stuff you will see, but he removes all the pain. I agree with the Nurgle fans because I love Nurgle. He's so cool. He's a good god. I think that in the Ruinous Powers group, he's the best because literally he treats his cultists and his demons like childs, like his sons. Literally, Nurgle have a mansion, have a house, and in the first door of the house, the main door, he have a chair, and in this chair he's sit. So about it is something funny if you ask me. He can tell you a good history, but first you needed to tell him a good history. If you tell him a really good history, he can give you power, and a better history about where find this power. It is so cool. And the last one is Slaaneshi, an space elf pleasure god. Literally sadomasochism, but worse. Every word fetish that you can imagine, Slaanesh did it. Slaanesh also represents the femininity and how it was called, the artist. He or she, because literally the Ruinous Powers doesn't have a gender, but in the case of Slaanesh doesn't have a form specific because Slaanesh changed its form depending on how you see it. Literally, if you are a man, you can see Slaanesh like a woman because you think it is the perfection. Slaanesh will change his form to be like the perfection in your mind.